Hey, welcome back to the Chief Resurrection. This is our 1955 Pontiac Star Chief, and today I'm going to go ahead and take apart the rear passenger door, rear front door, to kind of get at the electric motors that are sitting in them because they aren't working. I am getting power at the doors, so I know the wiring is at least somewhat intact, and I will go ahead and go through the car and make sure that the wiring isn't compromised in any of that direction. But excuse me, I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat today. The 55s had a pretty cool looking setup for their electric windows, very simple. It should apply to the 55 Chevy as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take those apart since I didn't see any sort of video that was on the web to educate anybody on that. Certainly plenty of 1980 and on, but nothing for the old 55 here. And we know how popular that is, so. And hopefully it'll help somebody else out who is on the same path I am and wants to take a look at the job before they really get their hands into it. Thanks. This is the rear door. This is the 1955 version for electric windows that should apply also to the Chevy of the same year. You can kind of see, just taking a brief look around here, that things, they're weathered, somewhat rusty, very rusty in other spots, not quite so much in others. There's our inside of the door. We don't actually have any leaks on the inside of the door. It's just weathered. You can see some of the original brownish primer here. We do have power at these connections. However, it grounds out when we try to run it on the motor that's on the inside. So I suspect that we just need to pull the motor and put it on the bench, take a look at it, work on it, hammer it with a big hammer, and make it work again. I have not pulled one of these apart before, so this is going to be adventure. I haven't seen any videos on the web other than replacing these with modern electrics. So I'm going to assume that we undo those two bolts, undo those two, and that the mechanism itself might have, well, and maybe those two bolts. It might just kind of slide out of this large access panel like it did on the on my T-Bird. But well, let's get going on this. Let's get going on this and see how we'll do. All right, I have my Nico here, just a rechargeable LED light that I'm going to go ahead and hang up. You can see it's pretty bright. It should give me access to be able to see inside the door pretty well. Hopefully that helps your guys' view a little bit. All right, let's dig into this. So it looks like we've got some Phillips heads here. 4 of them. All right, let's go find a giant Phillips head. Ta-da. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to make some room so I can sit on this old back seat. Oh, that's going to be gross as hell. Crunch. Wow. Not made for tall people. All right. Oh, right in my eyeballs, too. Woo. All right, that's really bright. Now I can't see. All right, well, hopefully you can still hear me. Oh yeah. Yeah, not too shabby. All right. Now, these feel like they're just holders for the wires. This, it just feels like it's part of the locking mechanism for the door here. All right. I wonder where these are for. Could be wire clips, because the wires do come in at the lower part of the door here. All right, well, hopefully you're just not staring into my ear canal and seeing my brain working. I have my collection of fresh wiring for the old Chief over here. Well, learn by doing, I guess. And I took a look in the manual to the original workshop manual for this thing, and there were no mention of power windows in there, or how to add them, or work on them, or modify them. Well, that was disappointment. All 4 of those out, and it didn't clunk. Yeah, so there was nothing in the workshop manual on how to fix these or install them. So, yeah. It is raining outside like hell, so I'm trying to do this in my small garage. All right. Well, I can hear the motor rattling in there. Something tells me I should probably clamp this window up before we go much farther. Now, I know on Chevy pickups, at least, that the windows themselves along here are bolted into a track. There's like 4 or 5 screws, and so you lower the window down to a certain point, you undo those, and then you can pull the window off of its track. I don't really see how this sits. It could be similar. It looks like there's about a foot long rail from this point here to this point here. That's the track for the upper 2 parts of the scissors. I really don't see much else down in there. Yep, well, we'll just continue on. We'll see where this leads us. Well, that's certainly not going to hold very well. Well, let's dig at this a little bit more before we start doing that. Okay, so it looks like the other part of the scissors is anchored here. So we're going to go ahead and pull that next. Alright, so we pulled these four. This is the anchor. Okay, so there's scissors like this that move like this to let the window go up and down. The scissors are one arm here, and then there's another arm that sits balanced here, and then the fourth arm is actually kind of like a half moon that sits on the armature itself, and the motor runs up and down a set of gears on that, giving you your scissors-like effect. So I need to be careful pulling these last two out because I feel all of the weight of the window is sitting on these two screws, which I can already feel pushing on this. Alright. And of course this is going to be a bugger to get aligned, because nothing is ever that simple. Well, while I'm doing this, I would suggest heading out to South Sound Auto Restoration, or also known as Mad Max Cars. They are going to be pulling the transmission out of the Chief here in just a few days. Okay. Now this small bracket doesn't look, feels like it's stuck in the track of the wheel itself. Probably doesn't have a easy way to come out. Maybe it stays on. Let's just assume it stays on. Alright. Well, you know, I'm not seeing anything more than those six holding this window up or in. Alright, so it looks like it is like the Chevy, which kind of makes sense. There is a screw here holding the window into its railing track, which disappoints me because then somehow I've got to be able to reach the other two or three or four. All right, here's the bracket that fell out. This is the one that's bolted on the inside here. There we go. You know what might be useful? I could tell you how long this is in case you need to reproduce it. Chevys of the 40s can supply these rails. You can just cut them down to the size you need and put the screws and bolts in that you need where you need them. They don't give me any sort of kickback. I just use them for all sorts of things. Wow. Okay, I'm back. All right, this is the bracket. It sits on the inside here. Bracket itself measures about 7 1/4. From center hole to center hole, 6 3/8. It's looking about an inch, maybe an inch scotch over width. And it's a channel, just like that. So in case you need to replace yours, there's some measurements for yours. Now on the scissors up here, I was able to push this arm of the scissors far enough so I got it out of the track. So now I'm going to see if I can do the same with the back one, get it out of the track without the window coming down on me. Looks like we're going to have to take the cup out here. Simply a small metal cup that keeps the wiring from being hit by the arm when it slides up and down. Put all of your screws in the same spot. Alright, that's what that thing looks like. Wow, okay, it's out. Alright, sadly you didn't get to see that. Okay, well, let me describe a couple of things first. So it has two connectors here, ground and power, I'm assuming. Or, yeah, that must be it. Alright, so this is the mechanism. It sits in the door this way. And it has, this is the, oh, that's this way. Okay. This is the scissors that opens the window. It goes up and down like that. These wheels here go in the trails of that shelf that's in the bottom of the window here. And this one here goes onto this piece. That's the equalizer bar that sits there. Alright, so I'm going to show you how this came out of here without killing myself here. Alright. So, it just goes in this direction. And it goes up and over that door stopper here. Goes back in, just like this. Then you have to lift it really high to get it past this part here, and those slip in. And then you can just turn it like this and line it in place. Pretty easy to do, actually. Here's the two wire connections. We'll go ahead and pull those out there. Alright, so it should be just as easy as this to extract. Alright, and that's it. Here's some cool information. September 30th, 1954. Do not run unit until completely installed in body. Alright. Well, we can see there's a Delco part number or something here. Delco Appliance. Rochester, New York. It's got a part number that I just smeared off with my finger. Nice. Alright, well, that's it here. You know, that looks rusty, motor-wise. It doesn't look that bad. Let's go ahead and put this on the bench. Put some power on it and see what happens.